What's going on, everyone? Juice Bags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2. We are taking step 2 on our flamethrower flame burst route, and this time around, it is time to take advantage of the Flameburst Tower from our lovely Adept. Now, the Flameburst Tower is going to require a Piercer Servo, so you're best off to have it. I'm going with anti-melee, defense rate, and Piercer Servo, using Mass Destruction, and Gathering Burst. Now, Gathering Burst is an incredible damage boost if you have super long lanes. You really need to take advantage of the ridiculous range on the Flame Burst. You see by default, it just goes all the way down this lane. So we want that Flame Burst hitting all the way out there at maximum range. Now, this is Chaos 10, so we are going to be starting off with walls plus anything else. And I'm not sure exactly how the DU is going to work out on this one. So let's go ahead and get some basics down, and then we'll take a look at the DU that is left. So we're going to be using our werewolf walls because I just love them. We're going to get a reflect beam in front of there. Let's see. We can go with just one wall here with a little reflect deliciousness. And then this lane here, I'm always got mixed emotions. Like, you've got a longer path if you start hitting the enemies from over here. However, it is kind of nice and a real tight little choke point right here if you can just spawn camp them. So I'm going to go ahead and go for that. We're going to put 2 werewolf commanders down right here just to make sure we don't have any sort of issue at all. And we're going to give those guys some reflect beam protection as well. And then last but not least, we're going to head on over here. And I think right here we can just go with 1 werewolf and then our 1 reflect beam. Now, let's go ahead and swap our deck up here and take a look at what we're going to have left. So we actually have 850 DU left. So what? We got just over 200 per lane. Now we're going to use 100 per lane on buff beam, a boost aura, and a destructive pylon. So that's only going to leave me 3 flame bursts per lane. Now, of course, if we went with like the training dummy and we spent a little bit less on our walls, then we'd be able to get more flame bursts down. So first things first, this is without a doubt the easiest lane here. So let's start off with it. And we'll go, you know what? I think we might even just leave the buff beam out on these center lanes. Let's see if we can't leave the buff beam out. And we'll go with 3 flame bursts. And we'll get in a boost aura and a destructive pylon on the frost strike. Let's do the same thing over here. Of course, I want to load up that first lane as it is the boss lane. So I'm hoping to have a little bit of change left over here. Let's do the same thing, though. We'll go with 3 flame bursts. We'll get our Boost Deliciousness and our Frost Strike Aura. And then I think over here, we can just rinse and repeat it. So let's just go ahead and go 1, 2, maybe? It's weird, too. As slender as these towers are, their hitboxes or collision with placement is kind of crazy. You just can't get these things stacked very close together at all. Now, that is going to leave me 310 for our big lane over here. So with that in mind, we can go ham on this lane, and that is what we're going to do. So we're going to go full buffs. That's going to leave me 210. So that means I'm going to be able to put 5 Flameburst Towers down right here. Let's see. Let's go something like that, maybe? And then that leaves me 110 left, so we'll be able to get the full show in. We got a buff beam, we got our boost aura, and we've got our destructive pylon, and oh, we are looking fantastic right here now. That is for sure. Now let's go ahead and fire it up and see how wave 1 goes. I'm going to try to not DPS at all. So I want to really see the power of the flame burst here, and it should just be pelting, absolutely pelting these enemies. You see the range on it is crazy. So as soon as they come out the door, they're just getting slapped. That first chieftain had to pop his buff right away. So he's going to be gone before he gets to the wall. The second chieftain is going to make the wall, I feel, though. Actually, no, he didn't make the wall either. Now, You do have that AoE burst from the Flameburst, but it's not huge. So it's very effective with enemies that are very close together. As enemy packs get spread out more and more, you're going to get least amount of effectiveness out of it. But they are busting it up. The Chieftain are making it down. Focusing on those Chieftain, really, that's what brings walls into Chaos 10 is, you know, the Chieftains are just going to pop that immunity, and they're going to make it to your wall. In a situation where you got a pack behind the Chieftain, of course, that means you're going to have a whole lot of baddies stacking up on your walls here real quick. Everything's getting handled pretty darn well so far. Yeah, everything just got super blasted there, so not too shabby. Now, let's see. Let's upgrade all these other lanes. So we'll go upgrades on each of those, since these are the weaker lanes here. Let's get an upgrade on each of those as well. And then just for good measure, we'll do the same thing over here. And that, of course, is going to allow for, you know, us to really load up on our boss lane with all of the DU. So first up here, it looks like we've got no issue at all with this first boss. So we will just be able to easy clap that one. There's 200 left. Let's hit both of those front ones. All right, and let's see how we go for wave number 2. I'm expecting, you know, the more upgrades we get on these things, they're just going to wreck. There's just no doubt. You see that Chieftain is barely out of the spawn and already popped his immunity. So he's healing up, and his immunity is gone. He's not even halfway down the lane yet. So crazy good stuff there from the Flameburst, that is for sure. Now, the Flameburst, of course, used to be the default tower, and then there was a skill sphere that converted it into a flamethrower. That, I feel like most people like to play with it that way. That way you had the option of using the Flameburst or the flamethrower. However, it was changed and turned into a flamethrower full time, and then the Adept ended up getting the Flameburst back in its original form, with that Gathering Burst Shard added on when he was reworked there. So good stuff here. I like the Flameburst. I personally like it better than the Flamethrower. It gives you a nice fireworks show, but it just pelts enemies. It does incredibly good. There's just no doubt. Now, we have just burned that lane so fast already. We are all done here. So I think what we're going to do is just blast on through this one. The waves are running relatively quick, so I won't jump forward, and we'll do the whole enchilada. Let's just blast it, and we'll get upgrades in on this lane as the wave is just running. As you know, it is clearing these guys out so fast. The Flameburst could definitely be one of the meta towers in Dungeon Defenders 2. I mean, there's no doubt it could be a top used tower in effectiveness in Chaos 10, without a doubt. However, of course, it's not the newest thing, so it doesn't have that fresh new tower scent to it, and not quite as shiny, and I think that's why it doesn't get used. But the animation on it looks cool, the shots are incredible, projectile speed on it is good, and it hits like a truck, so it's got all the right things, no doubt. We'll have to go ahead and remove that Drakenlord shield, which we can just do with our Bloody Strikes here. And yeah, the Flameburst is just going to mop it up once that shield is gone. Crazy effective. Let's go ahead and grab mana as the end of this wave is running. That way we can save time and just blast right on through this one. Now this map, of course, does have a very generous amount of DU. It's one of the reasons I like to run this map when you're checking out a defense, as you're able to really let it have some serious glory with loading up that one big main boss lane. So absolutely love that. All right, so we have got the mana just stacking here now. Waves are just running real nice and smooth. So once again, let's just go ahead and upgrade. In fact, you know what? I think I'll just upgrade these all the way up one at a time here. We'll get these guys to the roof. That way the other 4 are firing the whole time. get the power flowing on these bad boys, no doubt. I think we might be able to get them all fully upped for the final wave, which will be quite nice. So much power, so much power. Like I said, I'm surprised they don't get used more often. But I'm also not surprised they don't get used more often at the same time, because it's just not the new shiny, and everybody wants to use the new shiny, myself included. I am guilty of that one 100%. I do still use quite a few Dragon's Nests, and they're a little bit older now, just because I do like the defense so much. But the Flameburst is just a powerhouse. I feel like it goes neglected. Now, of course, it's not a base hero, yet it's a defense that we used to have on the base hero. And that's another thing that I believe kind of takes away from it just a little bit. What do we got there? We got Gribs and another Plaguing Hawk. Let's just see how fast they burn down here. Gribs actually disappeared before I even got a good look at him. Yeah, just meaty shots. That is just so crazy, the amount of power they're able to put out. So we're on wave 5 here already, and we are able to get all of those fully jacked. So let's just let it fly and check it out in its full glory. We got an Orc Warlord coming down. Let's see what happens to this Warlord here. See, the Warlords get busted up. Once again, has to pop his buff, like, barely out of the lane. So the buff is gone, and the Warlord doesn't even make the wall. Crazy, crazy. You could almost only go with walls through the first wave. Once you get a little bit of mana flowing and you're able to get some upgrades in, these things just put out some serious pain. They dish it out. There is no doubt about it. So, good stuff. Now, of course, we are going to have that third boss, which will come out of this lane. Depending on what it is, we may or may not have to help out a little bit. It looks like it's the captain. So we can just let the Flameburst do their business. No need to intervene on this captain kill, no doubt. And let's see how it goes. Now, of course, everything is getting close to the wall. The captain's taking shots now, and just like that, the werewolf was not even down to 75%, and the captain just got slapped. So use some Flameburst, y'all. If you've got the Adept, first off, she's got an incredible anime skin, just looking good. But additionally, she's got some real cool defenses. The Tesla Tower, the Flameburst Tower, just both incredibly good. So make sure if you've got the Adept, I don't think I would necessarily even say go out of your way to pick up the Adept if you don't have her already. But if you do have the Adept, give the Flamebursts a run, y'all. They are really, really good. That will do it for now, though. Thanks an absolute ton for watching, and I will see you next time around. Take it easy.